Namaste, everyone. Welcome to today's group practice for All Levels Flow with Haley. We're going to take a few moments as we find that easy pose on our mat today. I do have my little mindfulness box, and I was going to share a thought of the day and a mindfulness quote. So as you find that comfortable seat on your mat, I invite you to take a few normal breaths as we settle in. Being mindful that the shoulders are down away from the ears. So today's thought of our day: you only live once, but if you do it right, once is enough. And that quote is from Mae West. Our mindfulness quote today is: lie on the grass and watch the clouds go by. Continuing with our breath, just taking a few moments here to tune in to the breath and how that body's feeling today. Just relaxing the hands on top of the knees, palms upward. Eyes can be open, closed, or your gaze soft today, your choice. I do invite you to take those hands, heart, center, chest, finding our Anjali Mudra, continuing with our breath. I do invite you, we're going to take the body to our strong tabletop position. So we're going to be mindful of placement of the knees and those hands. Hands directly under those shoulders, knees directly under the hips. We're going to take an inhale, and then we're going to sink the hips back towards those heels, settling to that child's pose today. Stretching the arms out in front of you. I invite you to take 5 breaths as you are. Taking an inhale, we're going to roll the body up, settling to that strong tabletop today. And sigh out on the exhale. Inhale, we're going to start dropping that belly, taking that yogi gaze upward. Exhale, chin to the chest, navel to that spine, gazing to our mat. Inhale, making that transition Dropping the belly, arching, gazing upward. Exhale, chin to the chest, navel to that spine, gazing to our mat. I do invite you to get into your own flow here of your breath and body movement. Settling back to that tabletop position. We're going to work a little bit with our wrists today with a few little stretches. So I do invite you to be mindful here. We are going to just kind of rock the body forward, taking a few breaths here. And if that's a little too much, have a slight bend in the elbows here. Taking an inhale, taking the body to that tabletop. Exhale, sigh it out. On your inhale, we're going to start tucking our toes as we start settling to that downward facing dog today, lifting the hips towards the sky. I do invite you to have a slight bend in those knees. Taking a few breaths. You can pedal the legs. Do what feels good and comfortable for your body. We're going to start spinning on the balls of our feet. I'm taking both my legs to the right, slight bend in those knees. And then you're going to take it to center and spin the balls of those feet, toes pointing towards the left. Alternate those sides. Settle into that downward facing dog. Exhale. We're now going to start walking, feet closer to the hands. Deep breath in as we take those hands high overhead. Palms touching. Exhale. We're going to take the body towards the right in our standing side stretch. Taking a few breaths here. Inhale to center and exhale. Take the body towards the left. Taking a few breaths. Inhale to center. We're going to interlock those fingertips and then place the palms upward, settling to that palm tree today. We're going to release the hands, circle them down, settling to that strong mountain pose. Inhale, floating hands to the sky. On your exhale, we're going to open the arms wide, settling to that forward fold. We're now going to find our ragdoll, taking hands to the elbows. I invite you to sway the hips from side to side. Inhale, floating those hands to the sky. On the exhale, finding that forward fold. Inhale to half lift. And exhale, fold. Taking the right foot and leg back, I invite you to take that right knee to the mat. We're going to float the hands high overhead, settling to that low lunge. Anjaneyasana. I invite you to take the hands together, fingertips locked, turning palms upward. We're now going to release the hands, taking the arms to a T shape. Tucking the toes on the right foot, I now invite you to take that right hand to that right heel as you float left hand towards the sky. I now invite you, turn in the body, T shape, and then left hand to the outside of the left foot. As we go into that little twist, right hand to the sky. Take that yogi gaze to the right hand. You have an option here. You can lift that right knee away from your mat or keep it right where it's at. Taking the right hand to the mat, turning to that runner's lunge. Taking a few breaths. I now invite you, we're going to take that left foot back, settle to your strong plank today. We're going to have a little fun finding our Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, tucking toes, hips to the sky, finding that downward facing dog. We're going to take a few breaths. Feel free to pedal those legs. Stepping feet forward. Inhale, finding that high salute. Exhale, we're going to take the body to the right, standing side stretch here. Inhale to center. Exhale, take it to the left. Inhale, center, interlocking fingertips, taking palms facing the sky. Inhale, releasing hands, and we're going to start folding the body down, settling to that ragdoll. Take a few moments, swaying the hips from side to side. Inhale, floating hands to the sky. Exhale, settling to that forward fold. Inhale, find that half lift. And exhale, fold. Taking that left foot and leg back, I invite you to take the left knee to the mat, settling to that low lunge, floating hands high overhead. Interlock fingertips, place those palms upward towards the sky. Anjaneyasana. Take a few breaths. We're going to release those hands, taking the arms as a T shape. I now invite you, taking left hand to that left heel as you float right hand to the sky, taking that gaze towards the right thumb. Making that transition, open the arms to that T shape. And then we're going to take the right hand on the outside of the right foot, going into that twist. Left hand towards the sky. Follow with that gaze. You have the option to lift that left knee away from the mat. Start turning that body, adjusting to that runner's lunge. We're now going to take that right foot and leg back. Find your strong plank. Have a little fun. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, settle into that downward facing dog. Taking a few breaths. I now invite you, have a slight bend in the knees, and we're going to start spinning the balls of the feet to the right, then spinning them to the left, to the right, to the left, settling back to that downward dog today. We're going to step and walk the feet forward. Deep inhale as you take the hands to the sky. Exhale, take the upper body to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, take the upper body to the left. Inhale to center. Interlock those fingertips, palms to the sky, settling to that palm tree. Take a few breaths here. Releasing those hands, exhaling, settling to that ragdoll. Swaying those hips from side to side. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, find that forward fold. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, fold. Right foot and leg back. Right knee to the mat. Roll those arms to the sky, finding that low lunge, interlocking those fingertips, palms to the sky. Anjaneyasana today. I now invite you to release hands, right hand to that right heel, left hand to the sky. We're now going to transition, open those arms as they're shaped like a T. And then the left hand's going to go to the mat on the outside of the left foot. Right hand to the sky. You do have an option here to lift that right knee away from the mat. Releasing the right hand to the mat, settling to that runner's lunge. I now invite you to take that left foot and leg back. Find your strong plank. Settling to Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale to that upward facing dog. Exhale, tuck those toes, hips to the sky, finding our downward dog. Taking a few breaths. I invite you to start walking the feet closer into those hands. Inhale, finding hands to the sky, palms touching. Exhale, take the body to the right in that side stretch. Inhale, center. Exhale, take the body to the left. Inhale, center as we interlock fingertips, palms to the sky, settling to that palm tree. Exhale, swooping the arms to the mat as we settle to that ragdoll. Swaying the hips from side to side. Inhale, hands to the sky. Exhale, settling to that forward fold. Inhale to the half lift. And exhale, fold. Taking left foot and leg back. Taking left knee to the mat. Float those hands high to the sky. Interlock those fingertips, palms facing to the sky. Anjaneyasana. We're going to start opening the arms shaped like a T. And I invite you to take left hand to the left heel, right hand to the sky. Opening the arms to that T shape. I now invite you, right hand to the mat on the outside of that right foot. Left hand is going to go towards the sky. Follow with that gaze. And you do have the option to lift left knee away from the mat. Making that transition, settling to that runner's lunge. I invite you to take the right foot and leg back. Find your strong plank. And we're now going to take the right knee to the mat, modifying that plank. Taking a few breaths. We're going to start turning that body as we settle to the modified side plank, floating left hand to the sky. Follow with that yogi gaze. Taking left hand to the mat. Extending right foot and leg back. Find your strong plank. Finding our Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, settling to our downward facing dog. Transitioning that body to our full plank. I now invite you, take that left knee to the mat, settle into our modified plank. We're going to start turning that body, floating right hand to the sky. Follow with that yogi gaze, settling to that modified side plank. Making that transition, right hand to the mat. Extending left leg and foot back, full plank. Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, upward facing dog. On the exhale, we're just going to simply sink the hips to the heels of our feet, settling to our child's pose today. This is a time to relieve any stress or tension that you may feel through the body. Let it go. It no longer serves you. I invite you, take a breath in, and we're going to roll that body up, settle into that tabletop. Exhale, sigh it out. On your inhale, we're going to just start walking those hands further in front of us, settling to that puppy pose. Be mindful of the movement. We're going to make a transition, finding our tabletop today. We're going to extend the left leg and foot back. When you feel ready, take that left arm forward. You want to gaze towards your mat, taking 5 breaths right where you are. Left hand to the mat, right knee to the mat. Take an exhale, sigh it out. I now invite you, taking that left foot and leg straight back. When you feel ready, float that right arm forward, keeping the gaze to your mat. 5 breaths. I now invite you, right hand to the mat, left knee to the mat, finding that tabletop. Exhale, sigh it out. Inhale, start dropping that belly, open through the chest, yogi gaze upward. Exhale, chin to the chest, navel to that spine, gaze to the mat. Inhale, dropping that belly, open through that chest, gaze upward. Exhale, chin to the chest, navel to that spine, gaze to the mat. I do invite you to get into your own flow of breath and movement. And sigh it out, taking the body to that tabletop. We are going to make a transition as we just find that comfortable, easy pose on our mat today. Inhale, hands to the sky, palms touching. Exhale, taking the body towards the right side. Inhale, finding our center, hands high overhead to the sky. Exhale, taking the body to the left side. Inhale to center, and then we're going to release those hands as you slowly take them down to the mat. Taking the right hand to the mat. Deep inhale as we float, left hand to the sky, and then extend it over to the right side. Inhale to center and just simply switch sides. Left hand to the mat, extending right arm over. Inhale, floating to center, palms touching. And then we're going to release those hands as you slowly take them to the mat. We're going to settle to that Baddha Konasana pose. So I invite you to take the feet a little further out in front of you. Soles of the feet are going to be touching. Taking the hands to those toes. You can embrace the stillness here or have a little movement as you float knees away from the mat and then back down to the mat. Maybe imagine the wings on a beautiful butterfly. We're going to release it. We're going to turn the body on the mat. Feet are going to be grounded to the mat as the knees are going to be bent. I invite you to take an inhale as you start opening through that chest. Take that yogi gaze upward. Exhale, chin to the chest, navel to that low spine, gazing to the mat. Inhale. Start opening through that chest, yogi gaze upward. And exhale, chin to the chest, navel to that low spine, gazing to the mat. I invite you to get into your own breath and movement. And taking that body to center, I now invite you, take the heels to the mat. Knees are going to remain, or hands are going to remain on those knees. Apologies. I now invite you to float the heels away from the mat, finding a little balance on those sit bones. And we're going to roll that body, hugging our knees to chest. I invite you to rock the body from side to side. As we continue to hug that left knee in, extending that right leg out. Toes are going to be pointed to your head. Taking a few breaths here. I now invite you to simply alternate those sides, hugging right knee in, extending the left leg out. I now invite you hugging both knees to the chest, and then simply release, letting the feet ground to your mat. I invite you to take the feet together, Taking the hands to the belly, interlocking those fingertips, palms on the belly. Taking a few breaths. On your inhale, we're going to release the hands from the belly, palms facing upward. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale, let the knees fall to the sides of the mat, taking the hands over the head. Relaxing and softening the elbows. I now invite you to take those hands as you cradle your head, and we're going to take a few breaths. I now invite you to release those hands just to the side of the body. And then we're going to bring the legs flat on our mat, extending them out as we settle to our Shavasana. I invite you to close the eyes. Relaxing the forehead and jawline. Continue with normal breath. This is the time to settle into that stillness. It's within that stillness that you find the greatness from the practice and your mat.